My name is Nolan Sitz, and I'm accompanied by Tang Long. We're architects with Solomon Cordwell Benz and excited to present the refinements we made to 16310 80th Avenue for our third DRB meeting. Over the next few minutes, we want to refresh your memory on our project, take you through a summary of your comments from DRB2, and walk you through our responses. The project is located at 80th and Larry Way. We're in the Town Square District, just a couple blocks from the downtown park, light rail station, and adjacent to Old Town Redmond. We have 270 units on top of 260 parking spaces. We moved the wings of the structure in to create 3 courtyards, allowing more natural light into the building. When it comes to the architecture, we've always envisioned the building made up of 2 contrasting parts. On the left is the more traditional, with a top, middle, and base, while on the right is the wooden jewel box, perched up on the 3rd floor and angled to capture great views of Mount Rainier. The rotated box starts on 80th and continues back to 81st. At DRB2, the board was very supportive. In general, they liked the refinements made to the wooden jewel box, the expression at the top of the masonry building, and the look of the updated ground floor units. The board asked we look at refining the elevation on 81st, blank walls along the interior lot line as it turns the corner, landscaping, and cornice detailing. Moving to the north elevation, the board asked we study breaking up the lower white band along the 2nd floor. It felt too continuous. We prepared 2 options for your review. Both break down the white bar so that it doesn't run continuously across the building. We also changed the material at the entrance to the Woodruff to help the wayfinding and create more visual interest. The difference between the 2 elevations is the wood infill on the other masses. Looking at both options, we prefer keeping the wood to only the jewel box. It's more in line with our original design intent and makes the architecture more interesting. This is a perspective of what we showed at DRB2 and what we're proposing from the east. And this is what it looks like from the west. Lastly, this is a close-up of the view of the Woodruff. We brought the same material to 81st, added more glass to the interior of the space with warm lighting so that the space feels friendly and inviting. Moving to the south elevation, the board asked we study the blank wall along the east elevation. We're proposing to turn the corner 10 feet with the masonry material. This is the view from across 80th, and this is a view much closer up. Having the material turn the corner helps to unify the volume and make the building look more cohesive. We're also proposing to add some shrubs to help conceal the 6-foot path between the 2 buildings. This is a before and after of the east elevation. It's important to note our site is mid-block with an 8-story structure on the east and a 7-story building on the west. Along the eastern elevation, we're 6 feet away from a 3-story garage. The adjacent building has no windows, and much of this elevation will be obscured from the public's eye. We dashed in the 3-story garage in red so that you can see the amount of overlap. Along the western lot line, we're 15 feet away from the adjacent building. Although we didn't receive any comments on this side of the building, we thought it'd be good to add some additional windows and architecture as more of this elevation will be seen from the public. It'll also bring in more natural light and help to connect the spaces to a significant area of landscaping. We did complete a shadow study to see how much light would get in between the buildings. We found that the west, east, and north elevations are in shade most of the year. To activate this area, we're proposing plants that thrive in full shade conditions, very similar to the understory of a forest here in the Pacific Northwest. We're proposing evergreen, huckleberries, and ferns. It also helps to obscure the elevations as they return back. This is our site plan. We're showing street trees on the south, planters for individual terraces, and the Woodruff that bifurcates the site with open space on either side of it to help activate that area. This is a list of the trees and planting material we're proposing for the building, red maples for the street trees, and a variety of shrubs and some flowering plants. Lastly, the board asked we look at the detailing of the cornices on the more traditional building, making sure we had a shadow line. These are the updated perspectives that show the profile of the cornices. To us, all of it feels very elegant and well organized.
In the next few slides, we'll look at the building from some different vantages to give you a sense on how the pedestrian would experience it. This perspective is from 80th looking northeast, masonry looking building on the left with modern wood box juxtaposed on the right. This is from the other side, blow up in scale. We love how the wooden box cantilevers off of the 3rd floor. As you approach the entrances, this is a good view of the Woodruff from the center, lobby on the right, and covered open space on the left. We're proposing the front and side walls of the UNERF to look like board-form concrete with linear lights to make it feel safe at all time of the day. At the ground plan, we're showing a colored concrete that will visually tie the open space, UNERF, and the residential lobby together. This is the perspective along the 81st. You can see the wooden box on the far left contrasting with the three other white volumes. In our opinion, it's the contrast that makes it so interesting. And this is a view from the other direction. The next 4 slides will be more flat on elevation with materials cut out. The building is primarily made of two materials, a variegated stone-looking fiber cement on the left and wooden materials on the right. We have a gray infill color on both to make the openings feel larger and reinforce our design moves. The ground floor is a mixture of variegated stone-looking fiber cement, glass, and metal. Because we have tall buildings on the east and west of our site, we spend most of our energy and time on the north and south elevation. When we push the winds in, it's important to have materials from the south turn the corner, as those courtyards elevations will be seen from the 80th. This is the north elevation. And finally, the west elevation. Again, when we push the winds in, we thought it's important to have the materials from the south turn the corner so that it looks like one form. Overall, we are very excited about the design refinements we made to the project. It's contextual, dynamic, and we believe we will make a strong impact on the built environment in Redmond. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to hearing your feedback.